All right. Thank you for joining us at the Love of Business podcast. I'm your co-host, Davin Sundvick, and joined with me today is Edgar Rodriguez, our other co-host, as well as our guest today, Justin Cardenas. So just to kind of introduce everybody, Justin, go ahead and introduce yourselves, and then our co-hosts will introduce us to the show as well.
Hi, I'm Justin Cardenas. I am the Chief Operations Officer of a web design agency and development company called the Design Bros.
Rocco.
Awesome. And I'm Edgar Rodriguez. I am a certified business coach over at Action Coach.
Thank you, Edgar. Thank you, Justin. I'm Davin Sundvick. So I own a real estate company right here in Las Vegas. Real estate entrepreneur, so anywhere from training agents all the way to helping people buy and sell different types of property. So anyway, moving forward, I know Edgar has a few questions, and Justin, since you were invited kind of last minute, these are going to be complete surprises for you. So you're in for quite a ride here. So Edgar, go ahead and kick us off with our first question.
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank Justin, for stepping up, taking the time to be on this podcast. So, thank you for taking the time, because that's something we definitely cannot get back, Justin. Number one, what's been, can you talk to us a little bit about your business journey with the Design Bros and what led you towards that passion?
Definitely. So we have celebrated our first anniversary as of February 1st. So, definitely exciting times as well. It's just kind of a journey. We were contemplating doing websites in general because we do have an IT company, and we were doing websites on the side. And what we find is a lot of companies like to do websites on the side, but they don't like to give full focus on it. And typically, the quality of the site is like, it's a Wix site, which is, by no means a bad thing. It's a good placeholder if you have nothing. But when you want to start going into the digital marketing realm, Wix or Squarespace or anything like that is not going to cut it. So we kind of just wanted to make sure that we can dedicate our time to making a high quality site instead of making a side project, because that's not fair to our customers.
Yeah. And in business, you got to know, who you're bringing in and who you're relying, basically, essentially your marketing, right, on the website, and how you're driving traffic and things like that. So I know in what you guys do, it's a lot of SEO work and making sure that it's optimized to the best of its ability. Now, since you guys started the business, Justin, for you and your business partner, what's been some of the biggest learning curves in your industry?
So there's a lot of Achilles heels when it comes to web design. And typically when you go networking, you don't really find someone who focuses on web design. They typically do it on the side, like I was saying. And the reason is because it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to build a website. So that's typically, something that companies just really can't dedicate their time fully to. Not only that, it's just client communication, getting the content from the clients, making sure you capture their image exactly the way that they want, just from a couple of sentences, which is not always exactly easy. Try and tell an artist like 3 sentences and, let them draw. Are they going to exactly capture what you wanted? Maybe, but it's not exactly a, bulletproof plan.
Yeah, I know. Absolutely. And you touched on the nail on the head right there, which is the time, right? As a business owner, if I'm spending my time building my website, which is what I ended up having to do after I hired a different web design company. And so the next project will definitely be with you guys because of that problem. If I'm spending my time on my website, there's customers that have questions that aren't being answered, right? There's agents that need training, right? So yeah, it's important. And then like what you said, like effective delegation, it's not just trying to save me time. It's also how effective are you able to communicate to your web designer, right, what you need. So
exactly.
Yeah, and that goes to say, like, having a strong discovery process with you guys, Justin, because I've seen your guys' work, and having that solid discovery process to extract the information and then being able to translate it, right, to resonate what the messaging is trying to portray on the website.
Exactly.
So for you, Justin, what do you feel has been the hardest part about, jumping into entrepreneurship?
It's really taking that leap And the thing is that I feel like a lot of the entrepreneurial spirit in America, feels like it's gone up in certain groups and down in a whole lot of the wide population.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because it's a very difficult thing, and it's absolutely more than worth it, but you need to really commit, and that's something that seems to be lacking a little bit more and more in this world. So it's rough because if you don't have your finances in order, it's expensive to start a business. It's not that much to start an LLC, but then you need to have if you don't have the skills and you need to hire someone out or just inventory to have have a good amount of inventory that costs money. Everything costs money, and that may not be something everyone has just at the ready.
Yeah. And I think that's a really good point, right? Like when you're jumping into entrepreneurship, there's a reason why you jumped into it. You have to have a passion, and that's why I really like this podcast is, why we love business. And you've hit some really interesting points that it's tough when you have a startup, right? And you have no capital, no SBA lending, and getting things going can be a little bit difficult. In business, there's so many different levels to business, but you guys have done a really good job of, that the first year in business, right? So congratulations first and foremost for being able to hit that accomplishment. And I know a lot of people will find, value in this conversation, but now that we touched on the hard part, what's your favorite part about being an entrepreneur?
My destiny is my own. I can, I get direction of where I get to go. I get to do whatever I want. In the tech industry, it can become a huge thing, and it's just the things that I can do to. One of the biggest reasons why I want to keep working on the web industry is because, it's to see how change can be relevant and how you can actually amplify someone's business and make them in the spotlight in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
We have this one client who called Stinky Cigars. He makes ashtrays for cigars, and it kind of brought things home because we had done SEO for him. And most cigar lounges here in Arizona, if you actually go there, you can see his ashtray in their cigar lounges. So it kind of just brought it really home. Like, wow, what we did actually has impact.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. And I think you, like a word you use, like amplification, right? Like when you amplify a business. So for example, if you're a really small little business of one person and you spend $2,000 optimizing your website and you have 10 customers, well, you're paying a lot per customer, right, to have that website versus the business that has the exact same amount of resources, but the only difference is they got 10 employees, right? And they're able to satisfy 100 customers or 1,000 customers or 10,000 customers. Each customer is paying a lot less towards that website bill. So yeah, when you can use your team around you to amplify, especially like what you did, like putting an ashtray in almost every cigar lounge in Arizona for that guy, yeah, he's able to expand from there, and really grow his business in a new way. So that's cool.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty in what you said, right? It's and so impactful, man, is by doing something for them, right? In what you guys specialize in, it literally blew up that guy's business. Now he's all over Arizona. And think about the scale that can expand to, right? Now he can start thinking bigger and start thinking, man, can I get to Nevada? Can I get to California? Can I get all the way to the East Coast?
Exactly.
And then essentially taking it nationwide. And that's just a stepping stone. So the optimization and hitting that nail on the head is key in that. I think that's what a lot of people are looking for. So what advice, because that leads to the next question, Justin, is what advice would you give 20-year-old Justin who is just getting into business?
One of the strongest, like the Achilles heels in web design is the thing that we've suffered through, and we're even still kind of going through the ripple effects of it, is that we weren't directly helping people with branding in the beginning. And so, for example, we have a lot of niche clients who have a very, very specific product, even to the point where they don't even know how to show themselves to the world. And it's kind of like the whole it's very interesting in this modern day because we can kind of elevate our consciousness the way that hasn't been able to been done before. For example, like the first reaction would be like, "Well, it's your company. How do you not know?" But that's not how you approach it. What you have to approach it is, how can we get this, defined? How can we show what you're trying to express to your clientele, and really define it so that you know what your mission statement is? Because if you don't have a solid foundation, you can't really do much more if you don't have something strong to stand on.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can take somebody who can sell anything to anyone, but they can't sell every item to every person. It's just not possible. So having that brand, like what you said, it changes from trying to push a product to literally being a product magnet that attracts exactly what you need when you need it, right? So no,
exactly.
That's a interesting point too, Justin, and I want to make sure that the viewers didn't miss that, right? Is the identity of a brand, right? Like if you think about Nike, just do it, right? You start thinking about the Golden Arches, you know what they do, you know exactly what their identity is. And that's what a lot of, like when we work as a business coach, and we're working with a lot of business owners, it's getting that mission, their vision, and their purpose out, right? And identifying that identity is like, hey, what do you want your company culture to be? And how are you going to attract not only clients but talent, right? You want really good talent to be able to work for you, because if you think about the cycle of business, it starts with the business owner. If the business owner learns to take care of the team learns to take care of the customers take care of the business, and the business takes care of the business owner. It should be a smooth circle. And there's a lot of times when we're coaching clients and it's the business owner trying to put out the fire, trying to deal with the customer, trying to deal with the employees, trying to deal with the business. So and the business owner gets stretched thin, right? And this is what usually spreads into that burnout. But if they have that strong identity, they have a strong purpose, a strong mission, and they can convey that in their messaging with using someone like your guys' company, that's going to help not only attract clients but retain employees, which is what I keep hearing out in the marketplace is I can't find good people. So it's knowing that, hey, what is your identity? What is your brand? What is your marketing? What is your mission, vision, and purpose? So there's a lot to it in diving into that. I didn't want to go too deep, but man, that was such valuable information. I just wanted to make sure that we unpack that,
Definitely.
So, and you answered this next question, but you said you guys had to pivot. So, what's one thing in the business that, or your business venture, that you did not expect that it evolved to now?
So one of the interesting things is like just trying to make it as easy as possible for clientele. Because like I said, I feel with our tools on paper, it would solve 95% of those Achilles heels. In reality, we're still waiting for clientele. So we have made customer portals that are very, very easy to use. So like we share folders, and all you have to do is drag and drop everything. You can actually see the design before you approve it, and then you can comment on very specific areas that you do or do not like. But even then, the ye old, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. It's still applicable even when you do everything. So we're thinking about that right now. That's one of the pivot points.
Yeah, just learn to make him really thirsty. He'll drink.
You also hit another critical point, which I hear so many business owners miss, and you can tell when you go into a business. And there's like two ways to do it, right? It's like, do they build a process to save the business time or to save the customer time? Obviously, a good process should save both people's time. But it's like, if you're customer centric and you're saving the customer's time, you can charge way more for the product than if you're saving your business a few extra seconds on something, So I don't know. You hit something critical. That customer experience is absolutely vital, especially for a service business like website, because you're selling to CEOs and company owners, right? Their time's valuable, But if you're selling something else, maybe you got to be a little bit more business centric. But yeah, you hit it well.
Yeah.
I definitely like that.
Yeah, that's good. How do you stay motivated and inspired through some of the biggest business doubts?
And going back to that situation with the stinky cigar gentleman, like just to see how I can actually impact a company, that motivates me, and makes me want to not only expand but see what else. Because like we just started to to do digital billboards, so that's another arm that we've grown. So it's just kind of like my vision for this company is to be a full scale agency, and just to take someone from beginning and help them build an empire that they want to build. So that's my whole goal in the digital sense, of course. But it's one of my goals.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. And that's important, right? Is like knowing how to celebrate some of those wins, even when the road in business, that journey can be challenging, because it doesn't matter what type of business it is. We're all going to have peaks and valleys. And if they're telling you otherwise, they're lying, because they've all taken a certain path to get to where they're at. And we have to learn how to embrace that journey to get to the other side and get through that tunnel, right? In something you said, I think is really valuable, is that always look at past things that you've done, right? And how it's helped other business owners, and know that, okay, if we did that for this one client, we can do that for another client. And that will bleed over to keep you in that positive mindset, right?
Definitely.
What are some of the biggest business challenges that you guys are facing right now in your role, and how are you guys tackling that?
So we just onboarded an admin, and that's really helping us to start finally working on the business instead of in the business. Because for the longest time, putting out fires has been a huge, huge priority. And now that we're starting to really, really catch up, just because, like I was saying, we're still experiencing some of the ripples of not having those processes in place. We're almost done with it, but from here on out, it's going to be a lot smoother on everyone on my team. So just catching up and then being, proactive instead of reactive, because that really has bitten us in the butt quite a few times.
Yeah. Question is, with what we're in this is to get some inspiration for people that are tuning in and viewing. Who are some of the most influential people in your lives, Justin, and how have they personally impacted you?
I'd say one of the most inspiring people would be my uncle. I kind of was with one parent and then went to another one, then went to another one, and I was kind of just like left alone, to be honest. But I was heading down a really not great path, and he took a month out of his life to really try and mentor me and tutor me, and I'm very, very grateful, because that put me on the right track. So not only that, but the people who my family, my friends today, who keep me going stronger and stronger. My business partner, Michael Pollock. It's just my employee, Brian Bowser. It's just we're all working together for a unified cause, and that's just it feels great to know I have a very strong team behind me.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, not only the team, right, but like knowing that your uncle was a great inspiration, and other people who stepped up, right, and that's what we try to be in the network that we have, right, is that in business sometimes it could be a interesting journey, and you never know what people are going through. And I know one of the things I like to do is just reach out and say, hey, how are you? How are you doing? Not business, not anything else, but how are you doing? And is there anything? Why don't we set up some time and let's connect, and let's make sure that we're holding each other accountable. And that's what I like about our networking group, is that not only are we checking in on business, but on each other, and I think that's in today's time, especially because it is tough out there at times. But knowing that you have that strong circle is really impactful on this journey that we're all on.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah. And another thing too, not only just like having the team there, but just knowing that you have people who can help you, right? Like, you hear so many business owners, like, they have their rags to riches story or whatever their story is, and they make it seem like they're self-made. It's like, well, it's not that you didn't have a big impact on your own success, but like you got help. You know what I mean? Like you didn't do everything alone in life. Nobody ever did, right? So no, that's really cool to hear that you had a mentor, because I feel like so many people don't just reach out to those people that they could be reaching out to, just saying, hey, do you got something that I need to know? Because there's information out there that you can have access to for free, right? So
definitely.
Yeah, having those inspirational people, and then knowing, like what Davin just said, right, is there's this book that I read. It's called Who Not How. And in that book, it talks about how we waste so much time being egotistic and trying to figure out how am I going to get this done versus reaching out and saying, hey, who do we know that can help with this? Right? They can probably get it done in a week or two when it'll take us 2 to 3 months. And in saving time, like we talked about at the very beginning of this podcast, right, is time is a valuable essence that we cannot get back. So knowing and having those specialists, within our arm's reach, critical in any business. Justin, as we're getting out of COVID, we're at the tail end of it. All along this journey, what have you personally learned about yourself?
I feel like I've done the biggest transformation in this year than I have in a very, very long time. It's because, in a sense, being a business owner, because like I want to keep this mindset forever. I don't want to ever lose it. But your team is supporting you, but at the same time, they're being fed because of you. So you're like, of course, they can go wherever they want, whatnot, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, you're a provider. And
right.
I'm 27 and I don't have kids. I have a girlfriend, but it's just like I not being a parent. That's something that I haven't directly had to experience because I don't have children. But like in a sense, I do now. It's like, oh man, I'm responsible not only for myself but for my team, and I need to get my crap together real quick. No excuses, no more.
Yeah. No, dude, I can relate actually on a direct level. So by the way, we've had a lot of guests that have children, and so they have like that purpose in life versus you and me. I can connect with that because I feel like my business isn't like a family per se, but it's like it's something where I'm needed, right? And it's like as a man, it's good to just know that you're needed somewhere sometimes. And then when I have kids, I'm sure that need will shift in a healthy way, but I can relate. If you don't have kids, sometimes your business is like that child almost, where it's like it needs your attention. You like the fact that you're needed. So no, that's good.
Definitely.
You definitely have to nurture it, right? You got to know that it is like a kid because it's going to have, it's one of those things that you have to learn to be patient, right? And embrace that journey that we're on that we talked about earlier. Now,
definitely.
This is going to lead to my last question, Justin. And I always like to leave this one open, and then we'll get into our closing remarks. But what's one question that I did not ask that you wish I did ask?
I'm coming out with a blank.
It's all good. It's all good. I like asking that question because it allows the floor to be open. Right now, I do have another one prepared. What do you feel is most misunderstood about your industry?
That's a great one. That's literally the golden ticket question for sure with my industry. Is like, I can just build my own. Well, why do I need you? I can go to Wix. And it's just like, you absolutely can. But it's like, what about when you want to do more technical things? What about when you want to start digital marketing? Or, for example, some of the clients that we are now assisting with SEO, when I went to them, they were spending like $1,000 on PPC, pay-per-click Google ads, and they said that they got no traffic. And the thing is that when it comes to doing PPC, you need to really know what you're doing. It's not just something you can, go in, put money in, and then you get a return. You actually have to strategize of how you're going to do it. It goes very much with everything else. Like, it's just, you can put in keywords, but that doesn't mean anything. Do you know what your competitors are doing? Do you know how your strategy is going to directly, attach to people? Are you making it more personal? And then same thing with like social media. Now we do social media, but I wouldn't say that we're experts in it yet, because we need to, I need to kind of branch that out more. But when it comes to social media, yeah, you can post and it does do something, but at the same time, having an expert do it is absolutely preferable, because they know exactly how to get more people coming to your Facebook, to your LinkedIn, to your Twitter, whatever. So that's something. It's just, it can become like a black hole where you're just throwing money away in a sense. If you just, that $1,000 that they kept spending, they said for months they got no returns. And typically with pay-per-click, you should be getting double your money. Like within, after about 3 months, you should be getting double the investment that you're putting in. So for them, it was about 4 months, and they lost $4,000. It's like, well, yes, because there's also rules to the game. It's not just putting in, $1 into the virtual poker machine and getting money out because of luck. It's like, no, that's not how it works. It's actually a game of skill completely. You can't just go in there thinking it's luck, because it's not.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I feel like I should have asked that as the first question, because you hit so much valuable information with that one.
Yeah.
We saved the best for last.
With advertising strategy, I mean, we could make an entire podcast series on just that one topic, I'm sure. All right, so let's get to our closing remarks. If we could each take anywhere between 30 to 45 seconds. Justin, you'd go first. Just kind of talk about what you got out of the podcast, and I'll close us off right at the end.
Definitely. I think this was a great opportunity. I love that you guys are, just talking to business owners and getting that outreach out, because, that's with networking. That's the whole point, is that we have to stick together as, who you know, who you like, and who you trust. And those are very, very important things, because, we can't do everything ourselves. We have to rely on others. And, when you refer someone, you want to make sure that they are an expert in their field and they can be reliable. So, just getting on this podcast and, helping people learn more. And just, I think this is really great, because there's new entrepreneurs who are always looking into becoming, taking that lead, taking that jump. And like for me, I'm the personality type to really research and delve into things before I commit to anything. So for me, I want to hear other experiences of entrepreneurs. I don't want to just jump in blindly. Oh, I heard you can be successful. No, I don't think that's enough. It's really not.
Yeah, that's man, you're dropping more gold right there. It is a lot of learning, and that's why, one, I like doing this podcast, is because we learn so much from everyone that's been on the podcast, and that goes to show the strength that we have, right? The strength that we have in the experts that we know in different categories, and that's what made us dangerous in networking, is that we don't have to know everything, but we know the right people. We know the people that we like. We know the people that we trust, and we know the experts that can get the work done. That's been my biggest takeaway, is that it's on the marketing side. You got to be laser focused with your marketing message, and you got to know your identity. If you don't know your company identity or your company branding, you're going to be spinning your wheels for a while.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you both for your comments. As far as what I got out of the podcast, I've mentioned in the past, every single business owner is unique. So, you find commonalities with everybody, but you do have enough difference to usually learn something or all that kind of stuff. Justin, you and I are very, very similar in our cycle of business. So there's so much overlap in this podcast. So it was for me, there were some new things with your expertise in the marketing and online advertising, especially with websites. But as far as your stage in business, it was like a reinforcer of this is where I got to be, this is where I'm supposed to be, and this is where what I'm building is alike to other successful entrepreneurs of my age range, So no, that's really cool to have you there. We're about out of time pretty much. So I'm going to go ahead and close this off. So thank you everybody for watching the Love of Business podcast, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.